in the exams. Let's go over to Eben, and there's the poll that we run for you today. Can the Education Department be held responsible for exam leaks in Limpopo? So far, 87% of you are saying yes, the department should be held responsible. 13% are saying no.
Well, Elvis, I can report on the flip side of this. The Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga, she says she wants the criminals, yes, that's what you call them, criminals responsible for leaking Matric exam papers to be convicted. The minister gave an update on the impact of Maths Paper 2 being leaked in Limpopo and the consequences of this for the class of 2016. Now, last year, a paper leak in the Thohoyandou area of Limpopo also made headlines, and yet again this year, Maths Paper 2 found its way into the hands of pupils in Giyani.
Giyani High, one of the best performing schools in the province. A confirmation of a leaked paper might tarnish their good record. Information on how the paper leaked is still sketchy, but law enforcement agencies have been roped in.
We are aware and we can confirm that a Maths Paper 2 examination paper was found in possession of learners before it was written. In fact, it was during writing that we established that they had seen the paper prior to the examination happening, and our invigilators conducted further investigation after they observed learners behaving in a strange way, and they were then able to obtain more information about what took place, and we were alerted, and then we beefed up the team that has since been based in the province to try and get more information.
Last year, the province made headlines after a paper was leaked in the Vembe area. Limpopo province is in the news again. This time around, it's Giyani High School, where learners apparently got hold of Mathematics Paper 2 before their exams on Monday. The Department of Education is still investigating the leak.
We have various mechanisms to be able to identify learners that have had prior access. We have what we call investigative marking, where we appoint trained people that are able to go through a script and pick up certain trends and patterns, which will indicate that such learners would have had access, prior access to the question paper.
As I said, we invest a lot into the security of the papers everywhere. Just put lots of money, lots of energy. We bring auditors. So it's a whole protected process. And then if somebody inside the system breaches the securities that we've put in place, it really undermines all the investment and the time that we put into security.
Mike Maringa, SABC News, Giyani.
Now, in response to this, the Congress of South African Students say that it's not them but the government who remains to blame for the leaking of these papers. Ayanda Mokwana, who is the Cosas provincial chairperson in Limpopo, told us here at Newsroom that these criminals that the department speaks of are definitely not the students.
If there's any criminal that should be blamed for this, is the ones which are in the Department of Basic Education, because we believe strongly so that students cannot access the system of the Department of Basic Education, and it is unfair for students to be punished for the crimes which have been committed by the culprits which are in the Department of Education.
What evidence do you have that suggests that the department leaked the paper?
Well, I believe that anyone can just see that it's impossible for any normal learner from a village in Limpopo to be able to access a paper that is protected highly in the Department of Education, or any other learner in South Africa at that. As Congress of South African Students and as students, we know our capabilities, and we know that we are not criminals, and we condemn any person that is saying that students are criminals and that we are accessing question papers. We believe that the people that are giving us and the students, the other students, the question papers are in the Department of Education, and we are pleading with the Department of Education to make sure that they clean their house and check each and every person that has access to the question papers to make sure that they do not sell the question papers to our students.
Are you willing, as Cosas, to work with government and the department to find the people responsible for this leak?
Of course, because now when these question papers leak, we are looked at as the criminals. Our results are going to be withheld and our futures are going to be postponed. So we are willing to work with the department and the government to make sure that the people responsible for this, the people responsible for making our students vulnerable to this, pay for their crimes.
Why do you think this problem is persisting in Limpopo, though?
We strongly believe that the department is responsible also for this, because as you know, Limpopo is in the bottom 3 regarding the matric result. This thing has started at the bottom. We find that students in our province specifically do not have teachers. They do not have proper infrastructures for education. There are schools which haven't been in class for 6 to 7 months. Now, when it's time for examinations, the Department of Education does not care whether students had no teachers, whether students have been striking or schools have been closed. What matters is that they're going to assess the students in the province, like the students in Gauteng, which have been going to school all along, students in Gauteng or any other province which have teachers all year long. Students in our province have a challenge in a way that our societies are not acclimatized to the education that the Department of Education is expecting our students to be receiving. You find that in other schools there are principals who still sexually molest students, and the Department of Education is not doing anything about that. But when it comes to the end of the year, they expect the same student that has been molested by the principals or the teachers in the school to sit for an exam, which is the same exam that is written by any other student who has been psychologically correct all year long. So we believe that the Department of Education should come to the ground and see the challenges which could be influencing students to be motivated to find question papers, because they do not care if students are ready or not. The bottom line is that question papers are coming. So we believe that if the Department of Education can ensure that students are ready and that the quality of education that the students are receiving in schools is at the same level as the question papers that the students would be writing, that would be fair for everyone, and that we believe that the issue of being in the bottom three also can also be addressed.
Now, the accusations that you just made with teachers molesting students and that sort of thing, have these cases been reported to the police?
Yes, these cases have been reported to the police, but you find that the students that are being molested are those that are from disadvantaged backgrounds. You find that if a student is molested by a principal, already there's a difference in power. You find that the principal has more power to manipulate the system into making him stay in the school. And you find that the Department of Education is in favor of the teachers rather than the students. We know of schools where the students have been impregnated by principals and teachers, and the Department of Education is not doing anything about that. So we are pleading with the Department of Education to make sure that the issues that are affecting students at the bottom, the issues that are encouraging these papers to leak, the issues that are disturbing these learners from having confidence in themselves that they can pass, should be addressed. We believe that as students we should be the ones which are always in the department's favor, but it looks like the department is always on the favor of the teachers, and student issues are never really addressed.
Have you addressed the issues with the department themselves?
Of course, what we do all the time is we make sure that we communicate with the department regarding any issue that we are facing. But you find that they always say they're investigating. You find that an investigation takes 3 to 4 years, and once they say they're investigating, they never come back to us. They never come back to us or the community to say that since you reported this case, that this principal is doing this and that, this is how far we've come with the investigation. They just promise investigations which we doubt could have taken place, because if an investigation has taken place, then there should be a meeting after to discuss the findings of that investigation.
Now, just lastly, Ayanda, can you give us an update how the students are coping with the current exams in Limpopo after the unrest in Giyani?
The students in Limpopo are trying their best to make sure that they excel in these examinations, but as I've already mentioned, we have issues in our province which haven't really been been addressed by the Department of Education. You know, not only schools have been banned in Vuwani, there are many other schools which have been banned in the province, but it looks like the Department of Education is waiting for 30 or 25 schools to be banned before they can address the issues. I can tell you of schools in Waterberg region, schools in Sekhukhune region, which have been banned because students have cries which have not been attended to. There are schools also in the province where they haven't been teaching in the whole year. So can you honestly say that students are ready for the examinations?
All right.
Honestly speaking, the students have never been ready for the examinations, but as victims, we've always been victimized with this system, so that regardless of the struggles that we are facing, we are forced to sit down for examinations. We are forced to be at the bottom 3. And at the beginning of the year, when they announce results, they always make promises of what will be happening or how they will be improving the results in Limpopo or any other province which is not in the top 5. Now, we can honestly see that the department is promising and promising and promising, but these promises never really reach the ground. We find that students in the province, some still do not have classrooms, and the issue of the leaking of question papers does not start in grade 12. You find that in grade 8 to grade 12 or in grade 7, students feel that they are never ready for examinations, which is what encourages cheating in examination rooms. Now, if a student has never been taught anything, for an example, geography for the whole year, and you expect them to sit for geography at the end of the year, how do you expect them to pass? Already that is a bruise in the learner's ego to say that I do not know anything, and I cannot afford to fail. As students in the province, we cannot afford to fail. We cannot afford to fail because we are from disadvantaged backgrounds. The education that we deserve is not being given to us,
Yes.
and we are willing to go to whatever lengths to make sure that we receive it. So. Regarding the state of readiness in the province, I could say that we have never been ready, but we are fighters. We hit the ground running, and that regardless of what is happening around us and the allegations which have been put to us, we are willing to move forward, and we are promising that we are going to perform to our utmost best to make sure that the province receives better results than last year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Ayanda Mokwana, who is the Cosas provincial chairperson in Limpopo.